Let's see. Robert Space Industries is the Q&A. Oh. Oh.
Oh my God!
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Zeitgeist. So, okay, this is going to be a bit of a mashup episode explaining the most recent Q&A of the Polaris, some speculation about its capabilities, and why I actually bought one. So, here we go. And before you go on in the comments, oh, you bought a Polaris on a whim, oh my, no. I've been supporting Star Citizen for over the past few years, and so my fleet has grown slowly over years. I do not recommend that you drop $700 on this ship at once, or buy it without knowing that you had people to help crew it. First, my brother owns a merchantman, so we plan on doing cargo runs and splitting profits. Secondly, I'm in an org that's excited and ready to crew up ships and do cargo runs themselves. These factors combined mean that I have a reason for my Polaris to be my only, aside from that Aurora LN, ship in my fleet. Also, we talked things over and paired with information that was just released about the Polaris. We'd figured there was big money to be made. In the most recent Q&A video on the Polaris, CIG answered a few questions that made me very happy about the Polaris. That being the first one that was answered, which was, can I put cargo in the hangar bay? When the answer was yes, I was incredibly excited. Now I figured that you could probably end up doing that anyways, but the confirmation was incredibly good news to hear. Then a thought came to my mind. Who remembers the Endeavor Q&A from last year? Well, the thing I remembered them saying was that you could put cargo in the Endeavor's hangar bay. They said that the hangar could hold 2 Cutlass Reds, or if you wanted to put cargo in it, then it could hold around 4,500 SCU of cargo and 1 Cutlass. Now, with the Polaris, they've said that it can hold anything up to a Saber. Now, the Saber is 2 meters shorter than a Cutlass, so how much cargo space does that allow with the Polaris? Well, if a Cutlass equals 4,500 SCU, then I think a safe bet for the Polaris would probably be around 2,000 to 3,000 SCU of cargo. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are speculative, so don't go thinking that I've got the completely solid number. We don't know how tall the Polaris' hangar is, so that's why I have this large gap in SCU. Now, back to why I melted my fleet for this Polaris, well, it came down to the numbers. My brother and I both own Banu merchantmen, and both of us would require escorts whenever we needed to do cargo runs. I myself really like the idea of a big ship with a lot of guns, so with the average estimate of 2,000 SCU of cargo, along with his 5,000 SCU of cargo, that's a lot of cargo being shipped. Thinking about it, the Polaris has enough firepower to sink any medium-sized pirate fleet. A torpedo or 2 could probably take out a Caterpillar, and the turrets could probably handle the fighters. Really, I doubt a Saber or a Hornet would help out as much as a 2,000 SCU bank of cargo would, since that's bound to bring in quite a bit of money. It's really just a large and fairly well-armed cargo ship that I doubt people are going to want to mess with unless they're prepared to bring it on. That's how I see it anyways. That along with all the options to use this as a high-tier escorting ship, that I bet people would pay quite a huge premium to have a Polaris as their wingman. So with all that said and done, let's go talk about the rest of the Q&A. Somebody asked the question being, does the Polaris come with an Argo like the Idris and the Javelin? Which the answer was no, not much of a surprise there really. Next, they talked about the Polaris being a versatile platform, and from their description of it, it sounds like it's going to excel in the roles of leading a strike mission, search and rescue operations, and being a great all-round patrol boat. There's also the ways that I've talked about before, but it's clearly not built around being a cargo hauler. Next, we got some news that got me really excited about the ship, and that was the ship has a dedicated captain's quarters, complete with space-time blankie, a secondary crew quarters for an officer or a fighter pilot, a medical bay, and an armory. All this together makes this ship um, really amazing in my eyes. That, and I can't wait to have a room to put all my big guns in. Next was the question of what makes this more than just a better retaliator? Well, the ability to carry another ship was a large one, plus the large crew capacity being another. Also, there was the fact that this ship couldn't carry cargo without the need for there being a module. Um, they went on to talk about the how if the ship was going to be modular or not, and we got a slightly disappointing no to that idea. They don't plan on having any modules to the ship, and that's slightly disappointing to me because personally I prefer guns to torpedoes, and I'd like to have a more turret-focused version of the Polaris, but I'm happy to settle with this as well. Next, we got confirmation about the ship's finalized loadout being 6-man turrets, 4 torpedo launchers, and the remotely operated gun under the cockpit, along with the automated rocket pods dotted across the ship. Personally, before, when we were seeing this, just some design specs, we were only seeing 1 automated rocket pod on the top and only 5-man turrets. This arsenal is much more acceptable of a ship of this size, and I cannot wait for friends in my org to help me blow some shit up with this firepower. And that was the second Q&A of the Polaris. I'm fairly certain they don't have plans on having another Q&A for it, but the sale lasts until the 17th, I believe, so we'll just have to wait and see if there's any more information to come. But what about you guys? How have you felt about the Polaris? I know for me it's been a roller coaster of emotions spanning months of time, so I'm quite happy with the end result. Are you guys excited about the ship being released, and do you own one or know somebody that does? If you do, share this video and help spread the word about this update before the sale ends. Anyways, I've had a blast making this, so with that said, that's the end of this video. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Are you still here?
I mean, yeah, kinda.
Alright, what'd you say again?
I said I'll be a narwhal for you, Donald Trump.